how do you sort of close games? Because there's two scenarios where I'm looking at, right? A late game scenario, you're protecting a lead, and late game scenario versus you're chasing the game. In those two scenarios, who is actually on the floor? Because I don't necessarily care so much about who starts. I think players care about that, but I think more importantly, it's probably about who finishes games. And in those two scenarios, protecting a lead versus chasing a game, who's on the floor for you?
I think protecting a lead, OG's still out there. You look, especially an opponent tonight.
Yeah,
you need OG on DeMar.
Are you kidding me? Yeah,
right.
Course,
like DeMar is unbelievable and is still one of the best closers in basketball, and has just like, if you remember any of the detractions about DeMar DeRozan as a Raptor, like they're all gone. He still doesn't shoot the three, and he's at like 60% true shooting every year now on monster usage, and he never turns the ball over, and he shoots the mid-range more and better than just about anyone else. You need OG on a guy like DeMar DeRozan in a big spot. And again, he didn't play particularly well over the weekend, but he took Bojan out of that game entirely.
Sure. Yeah.
Bojan had, I think, 11 points in that game.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Dwayne Casey, by the way, for not getting Bojan back into a very close game until the 3-minute mark. That's good tanking right there.
Yeah,
that's very good tanking. But anyway, come on.
That's great. Now, some teams could learn a lesson or two about that. You see some teams winning games they shouldn't be lately.
Yeah.
The Orlando Magic got Jesse Murmis needs to hit up Dwayne Casey and be like, hey, how do I justify benching Paolo until the final minutes?
You just be like, oh, my bad. I put the wrong Wagner in the game. Like, oh, sorry. I thought the whole time it was Franz.
Yeah. Oh, we signed Michael Carter-Williams. He's going to play again.
Yeah, that's wild.
What a weird... Michael Carter-Williams and Willie Cauley-Stein both got signed this week. What year is it?
Honestly, if you have a lot of length, like, people are going to keep giving you chances, man.
Raptors got to sign John Henson so Eric Green can die happy.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's what's keeping him from doing that, huh?
Yeah,
John Henson.
Yeah, that's it. Right. No, I agree with you that who closes is the most important thing. And like, you look, there are enough minutes. Like, I think I said this with you, or maybe I said it somewhere else. But say Boucher gets his 20 minutes.
Yep.
That leaves 31 minutes per game for the 7 guys above Boucher in the rotation. If they keep a tight 8-man rotation, could any of those guys really complain? Like, let's say that 31 minutes gets chopped up of, okay, the main guys are playing 31, and then everyone else, you're going to get your 20, and then those last 10 minutes will be distributed based on who's playing the best or who fits the matchup the best. Could anyone really be mad about that? Like, Precious's minutes have suffered since Pirtle got here.
I don't feel like he's done well off the bench. He's been also quietly disappointing.
Precious, you mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird fit with Pirtle right now. Like, that's only a good fit, or that's only a tenable fit if Precious is knocking down threes and defenses are respecting it.
Yeah.
And I was a little surprised when I looked at the numbers, actually, that Precious is only shooting 26% on threes this year. It feels way higher.
It feels higher. It feels like he throws in some ones that I think that you really need during the momentum swings. But at the same time, you also watch it and you're like, he turns down a lot of threes right now. And I don't think you give the defense that impression that you're going to shoot. I feel like last year at this time, Precious Achiuwa was shooting everything, and defenses were closing out on him.
Even so, if you go back to January 10th, he's shooting 35% on threes since then, but still only 2 attempts a game. So are you?
And he's being left open a lot.
Given all the challenges the Raptors provide with their size and stuff like that, are you really sacrificing the extra body in the paint to close out on Precious Achiuwa? I don't think so, right?
No,
so. The him and Pirtle fit will be a little awkward. But again, I think Pascal, Fred, and Scotty are more or less locks to close games. Pirtle, in most scenarios, is probably going to close, because even if it's a smaller opponent, you can go a little more drop style with him, and like he's still going to have value. The question with him is, does he stay out of foul trouble?
Yeah.
Enough to be in the game down the stretch? And then do you, like, if you have a lead, he's an interesting one, because if you have a lead, you definitely want him in there for defense, but you worry a little bit about him getting intentionally fouled.
Yeah.
So maybe you're doing some creative substitutions or whatever. But I think either way, Siakam, Van Vliet, Barnes are locks. And then, I don't think you've seen the last of OG and Gary being the 4th and 5th guys in that lineup, the lineup that they started with so much this year.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we'll see that at times. I think that's probably their we need to come back quick lineup, like down 8 to 10 points with a few minutes to go. Pirtle obviously helps the offense, and then the numbers bear that out so far, but you need some shooting if you're going to try to close a gap quickly. So, but yeah, it's hard to imagine a scenario where, unless OG is having a very rough game offensively, that you wouldn't need his defense out there.
Yeah.
Like, he's still your best individual defender by like a pretty good margin.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I mean, we'll see it tonight for sure. I mean, like if I had to guess, OJ is going to be on DeMar and Scotty will be on Zach LaVine and Gary will be coming off that bench. Right. And I think that's where you got to think about it from Nick's perspective. He's really focused on the defense first. And yeah, if you do need more scoring down the stretch, I think that's where Gary's going to come in and play extended minutes. But I am hoping that maybe this balances out in terms of the scoring overall, because a lot of these games you watch, it's like, okay, the Raptors' high score off the bench was like 6 or 7 points. And it's like Precious got a put back here, and Chris Boucher got a transition dunk here on a random 3 here, and like Jeff Dowden got 4 points. And it's like, okay, but like your offense dropped off significantly when these bench guys came in. So that's where I feel like, you know, if you're able to find a good role for Gary in that stretch. And listen, Gary did do well off the bench when that happened in November. Although when I asked him about it, he was kind of just like, I don't know what we were doing as a team.
This is the thing too, and like this, so much of this comes down to how a coaching staff communicates this and how they manage it and stuff. But like, I get sometimes people think that, you know, saying, oh, Gary Trent should be the one who goes to the bench, and they take that as a negative or a shot at Gary or something like that. And I understand that, but really, if you're looking at a team that's trying to win right now, and really, if they are trying to win right now, which they are, they really need these wins against teams like Chicago.
Tonight's a must win.
It's about
a must win, man.
Yeah. Man, how much did Alex Wong miss calling games must win?
Oh man. It's tough, man.
You need you need to look at these things as how do you optimize the entire 8 or 9 man rotation over 48 minutes. And yeah, it maybe sucks for Gary Trent Jr. to be the guy that has to change his role and move to the bench, but it's in a lot of ways a compliment about his offense and how you trust him to get his 18 or 16 or 20 points no matter what role he's in. And I think a lot of that's in how you communicate it. Always tough when guys go back and forth between roles. This is why, you know, going back to the championship year, Nick Nurse has always talked about wanting to have flexibility in the starting lineup and get guys comfortable with both. And that's a really great thing, because then this decision wouldn't be that hard because everyone's familiar with it.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is there are egos and dollars on the line for these guys.
That was also a veteran team with championship aspirations. This is a young team with play-in aspirations.
You remember Quebec City, though, the run it back training camp.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we have 8 starters.
Yeah. I don't know if
they didn't even have 8 rotation players when the season started.
They have 8 guys who will start on this current Raptors team. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I don't know. Ideally, you would platoon. The thing is, I don't really even see a platoon scenario here. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I would want to start small against the super small teams in the league. Maybe, but I mean, aside from that, I don't really see a platoon scenario.